Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, you may remember this particular machine. This was the Kia GT4 concept that they showed off back in 2014. Now, Kia was on the bandwagon of trying to go after the Toyota GT86, Scion FRS, and Subaru BRZ. At that time, those cars were selling like hotcakes. But now those sales have started to cool, and apparently that may be the main reason behind Kia now axing the project altogether. So there will be no GT4 or no small front engine rear wheel drive little low displacement sports car from the folks over at Kia. I'm a little bit saddened by this deal, but it may be for the best. But hopefully maybe this design will show up someplace else. Next up on the list, the little Lotus Elise. It's oddly enough, it's been many years since it's been sold here in the United States. Much like we've talked about in past shows about the Lotus actually having a little bit of an issue, being a smaller manufacturer and selling in decent enough volumes where they have to really jump through some safety standards, and obviously safety standards are way different from country to country. It would be nice to think that one day there could be one safety standards that all manufacturers could jump through, and then you could sell cars all across the globe. I hope that day will someday come, but it hasn't gotten here as of yet. We talked about the Lotus Evora getting brand new airbags to now be able to be sold in the United States, and apparently that's what's happening with the Elise. Now, if that's got you a little bit excited, you live here in the stateside and you really want your hands on the Elise, you're still going to have to wait for a bit, which means you can really save up your pennies because it's going to be probably somewhere around 2020 before the next Lotus Elise comes out. There will be a new edition of that machine, and that's when that vehicle will be available in the United States. Next up on the list, this picture hit the old interwebs quite hard over the past several days. A little shot from close to Maranello showing off a very high-performance looking F12, which has got the internet all abuzz about what exactly is this going to be. Is it an F12 Speciale? Is it an F12 Scuderia maybe? We'll have to wait and see what comes from Ferrari. They actually had this thing out doing a tad bit of testing, and someone uncovered it inside of the car park. And some folks got some snapshots of it. Good looking machine, looks very racy, so we'll know a whole lot more about this, I'm sure, very soon, possibly even the Frankfurt Motor Show. Next up on the list, another high performance, cool little automobile is the McLaren 650S. And I will say this about McLaren. When they said they were going to build a bunch of different variants off of the MP4-12C, I thought that might have been a little bit of a weird statement to make, but the variants of this machine come out hot and heavy. The 650S hasn't been with us very long, but apparently there's already a replacement in the works, and it will be coming out maybe somewhere around 2017. There is some rumors, maybe not real substantiated rumors, that this vehicle could, at least in concept form, show off at the Frankfurt Motor Show this year, but it may be probably more closer to 2016, 2015 year, or I should say 2016, before we actually see this automobile, at least in concept form. So, new McLaren's coming soon. Next up on the list, well, if you were one of the owners, or at least hopeful owners, that had your order in that Fiat Chrysler Automobiles deleted on the brand new Challenger or Charger Hellcat, well, guess what? You may have another little deal coming your way, because the folks over at Shelby America that do some high performance work on high-end Mustangs, especially the GT500 Mustang, which we haven't seen the new variant of that come to light as of yet. But if you have a GT500 and want to take it to Shelby America to have their Super Snake package on there, yes, where they do a bunch of tweaks, and this thing makes well over Hellcat X type numbers as far as horsepower is concerned, Shelby America's actually got a deal for you if you can prove that you're one of the hopeful Hellcat owners that your order was deleted by Fiat Chrysler Automobiles. You get a $3,000 little upgrade, and that is calfskin leather interior package, which again is $3,000 as far as on the option list. You'll get it absolutely free, and this may be a little shot to actually take a little bit back. At least if you want to not get a Hellcat now because you're a little upset, you can go in this direction. Next up on the list, this is the Ford Raptor, but this has actually been done over by the folks over at Hennessy Performance down in Texas. These guys do some real high-performance sweet stuff to a lot of different machines. Most people know who the Hennessy group is. And this particular version is the Velociraptor, the version of the Raptor that they actually work over. And this vehicle may look a tad bit more familiar because it's got a nice little backstory. Now, right off the bat, it comes with a lot of special stuff. It's got new rear bumpers, front and rear. It's also got a big, massive winch, a massive 50-inch monster light bar. The spare tire is actually mounted in the bed itself, new wheels and tires. It also comes with a 2.9-liter supercharger on top of the 6.1-liter Ford V8, and this thing makes 627 brake horsepower. 0 to 60 comes in at 5.2 seconds for a truck that weighs this much. In fact, the quarter mile swings by at just 13.6 seconds. Now, again, you've probably seen this vehicle before because in season 22 of Top Gear, you may remember a small episode where Richard Hammond was actually dropped off in British Columbia, Canada, with a watch that actually you can pull a ripcord and it sends a distress signal and sends a rescue team right to where you are. Well, they had that rerouted to Jeremy Clarkson and James May. They ended up finally getting to the United States, picked up a couple of pickup trucks, and pounded up north to Canada. And this was the very machine that Jeremy Clarkson actually drove. In fact, not only was this vehicle run in that particular episode of Top Gear, but after the whole fracas and the whole thing kind of blew up, this vehicle was already shipped to the UK, and the Stig actually took a lap around it in the Top Gear test track. So this thing's got a beautiful little backstory, and it's got a beautiful little price tag because the Hennessy folks now want $150,000 US for this particular machine. Not a bad deal to me because you're probably thinking that what Hennessy did to this thing is meaning this truck's probably real close to 70, 80 grand already. So 150 grand isn't too bad, especially for the type of folks that have been inside this. And if you can track the two of them down, I don't know if the Stig actually has a signature, but if he would sign it and Mr. Clarkson would sign it, it'd be a pretty neat little piece of Top Gear memorabilia. Next up on the list, we've talked about the Lamborghini Superveloce, and we're getting a new special edition Lamborghini that's going to be showing off the Pebble Beach Concordia d'Elegance, and it's been rumored about for quite some time, but now a little bit more comes out because this vehicle won't be called the Superveloce, at least this new Lamborghini won't. It's going to be called Hyper Veloce. So this has got everybody really freaked out on the old internets, thinking just what exactly this could be. And we only have a handful of weeks that are left towards that particular show, so we'll know a whole lot more very, very soon. And last up on the list, a little bit of sad news because we actually lost a member of the Motorcars family. This is Grace. This is my mother. She actually went home to be with the Lord just a handful of days ago. And all of us Motorcars enthusiasts are saddened by the loss. But you know what? Mom's in better shape now. She was in a lot of pain, had been battling cancer over several years. So she's home to be with the Lord. And I know, Mother, I will be with you again soon in paradise. And thank you for all that you did for me. Now, she didn't really care for motorcars, which a lot of people don't really care for motorcars, but she did care for me, so that's close enough. So, bye, Mom, and I will see you again on the other side. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition for the Motorcars enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, the link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.